Imagine if the secret to wealth wasn't about pushing yourself to exhaustion or endlessly hustling day and night. What if the real key was a fundamental shift in mindset? A way of thinking that unlocks opportunities not by sheer effort, but by multiplying your impact with every action you take. This is the power of leverage, often referred to as the secret weapon of the wealthy. Let's begin with a true story that perfectly illustrates this concept. In 2012, a software engineer in the United States named Bob had managed to secure an impressive annual salary of $250,000. To his employers, he seemed like the model employee, always present, always turning in quality work. Everything appeared typical, until one day, something unusual came to light. The company's IT department noticed a series of remote logins from China using Bob's credentials. Fearing they were facing a sophisticated cyber attack, they launched a thorough investigation. But what they found took everyone by surprise. There was no external hacker lurking in the system. Instead, Bob himself had quietly arranged to outsource his entire job to a programmer in China. He paid this programmer $50,000 a year, a fraction of his own salary, and essentially handed off all his work. Bob continued to collect his full salary, doing almost none of the actual work himself. Now, clearly, Bob broke the rules of his company. But beyond the ethical dilemma lies a deeper, more significant lesson. What Bob practiced, perhaps unwittingly, was leverage. The act of strategically using resources, tools, or the abilities of others to vastly extend your own reach and productivity. Rather than trapping his income to the hours he personally worked, Bob created a system in which he benefited from someone else's expertise and time, effectively earning more while working less. This ability to multiply your results is what truly separates those who achieve extraordinary wealth from those who trade time for money. Naval Ravikant, one of Silicon Valley's most admired thinkers and investors, distilled this idea when he said, "Forget the old categories of rich and poor. In the modern world, there are only two types of people, those who understand leverage and those who don't." So what does leverage look like in real life? It comes in forms both traditional and cutting edge. The simplest kind is labor leverage, where you hire others to work for you, multiplying your output far beyond your own individual capacity. Think about a business owner with a team of employees or an entrepreneur building out their company. Each new team member adds exponentially to the output of the organization, enabling the owner to focus on strategy rather than daily tasks. Then there's capital leverage, a familiar concept in the world of finance and investing. This is where you use other people's money, perhaps through bank loans, investors, or venture capital, to grow a business, fund new ventures, and capture returns far greater than what your personal savings alone would allow. But in the modern era, perhaps the most profound leverage comes from code and media. A well-written piece of software doesn't sleep or demand weekends off. A single clever line of code can power an app used by millions, generating income while the creator is nowhere near a screen. Media works much the same way. A video, blog post, or podcast episode once published can reach millions around the globe, spreading ideas and earning income with no incremental effort for each new view or listen. What all these forms of leverage have in common is they break the one-to-one link between your time and your earnings. The wealthy don't just outwork others. In fact, they often work fewer grueling hours than those locked in the cycle of trading time for paychecks. Instead, they design systems, processes, and products that work for them, even while they sleep. The most exciting part? Leverage is no longer the exclusive domain of the ultra-rich, or those with Ivy League degrees and family connections. Never before has there been a time where the tools of leverage are so accessible. Anyone with an internet connection can learn to code, launch a global business, or grow an audience in their niche. You can use social media platforms to broadcast your message, sell your expertise, or build a community that supports your work. This democratization of leverage means opportunity is bending towards those who are willing to learn and apply these principles. If you shift your thinking from asking, "How can I work harder?" to "How can I build systems that work for me?" you begin to unlock leverage in your own life. Start small. What tasks are repetitive in your routine? Can you outsource them or use technology to automate them? Can you share your insights through writing or videos, letting your expertise reach far beyond your local circle? Don't be discouraged by starting from scratch. Every great system began with a single step, a bit of time invested in learning a new skill, delegating a simple task, or experimenting with sharing your ideas online. Over time, these small acts of leverage compound, setting you far apart from those who stay confined by the boundaries of their personal labor. Ultimately, the secret weapon of the wealthy isn't a special inheritance, an exclusive opportunity, or unending hustle. It's understanding how to tap into leverage, using people, capital, code, and media to multiply your impact, income, and influence. Once you grasp this, you see the world differently. Obstacles become opportunities for automation. Busy work becomes a candidate for outsourcing. Your knowledge and creativity become seeds for projects that grow even when you step away. So the real choice isn't between working hard or hardly working. It's between operating within your limits and breaking free through leverage. Because once you understand how leverage works, you're no longer playing the old game. You're building a new one, where growth isn't limited by your individual effort, but propelled by the power of multiplying your results. The game changes, and so do your possibilities. Build wealth while you sleep. There's a popular belief that if you want more money, you need to work more hours. But if that were true, the hardest working people in the world would also be the richest. The truth is, you don't get rich by renting out your time. You get rich by building assets. Naval Ravikant makes a powerful distinction. Money is just a tool. It's society's IOU for the value you've given. But wealth, real wealth, is owning something that earns money even when you're not working. Think about it. A rental property that brings in income while you sleep? That's an asset. Stock in a business that grows in value while you're on vacation? That's an asset. A song you wrote that earns royalties long after it's released? Asset. An online course that sells itself every day? Asset. This is what Naval calls sleep income. You make money, not by trading time, but by creating systems, products, or content that work for you, even when you're not there. And here's the exciting part. Creating assets isn't a privilege. It's a skill. And like any skill, it can be learned. The first step? Shift your mindset. Instead of thinking, how can I earn more? Start asking, what can I build that will continue to earn, even when I'm resting? We're living in the greatest time in history to build something once and share it with the world forever. Whether it's writing, coding, teaching, designing, the tools are all around you. You don't need to work more. You need to work smarter and build something that lasts. That's the foundation of real wealth. You are the asset. Productize yourself. What if the greatest asset you could ever build is you? In today's world, you don't need to own factories or manage giant teams to create wealth. You just need to do one thing extremely well. Turn your unique skills into scalable value. Naval Ravikant calls this productizing yourself. And it's one of the most powerful ideas of our time. Let's break it down. There are two parts to this. You, your skills, passions, voice, and perspective. The product, how you package that uniqueness into something that can scale. Here's an example. A consultant charges by the hour, trading time for money. But if that same consultant turns their experience into a book, an online course, or a video series, they've created something that works 24/7 with zero extra effort for each additional sale. That's leverage. That's scale. That's wealth in motion. And here's the best part. You don't have to be a genius or a celebrity. You just need to be authentically good at something and bold enough to share it. Ask yourself, what do I know that others find helpful? What problems do I naturally solve for people? What topic could I talk about for hours and still love it? Find your edge, that one unique blend of talent and passion, and lean into it. The more irreplaceable you become, the more valuable your work becomes. And remember, if what you do can be easily copied or replaced, you're not there yet. But when your work carries your fingerprint, your story, and your voice, no one else can compete. That's when you stop chasing opportunities and start attracting them. In today's always-on world, the noise is relentless. You're constantly told to hustle harder, to move faster, to mimic the so-called blueprint of success that claims to work for everyone. But here's the truth. The path to real wealth, true fulfillment, can't be found by following the herd. It's discovered when you tune out the crowd and focus on your unique strengths, your uncommon curiosity, and the timing that's just right for you. Naval Ravikant, one of the modern age's leading thinkers on wealth and happiness, reminds us that genuine wealth isn't about imitation, it's about innovation. It's not found in simply redoing what made others successful, but in carving out your own path. This journey doesn't begin by chasing what's already popular. It starts with a deep understanding of yourself, what excites you, what you notice before others, what you love doing so much you'd do it for free. Look at the people who have changed industries, innovators, creators, entrepreneurs, investors. They didn't wake up and ask, "Who should I follow?" Instead, they followed the trail of their own questions, their own fascinations, their own edges. Success stories rarely follow a template. They are the result of three simple but powerful ingredients: a deep passion, an emerging trend or technology, and the courage to commit before the rest of the world catches on. Consider the inventions and movements that have transformed life as we know it. Once, plastic bags revolutionized how we carried things. Today, they're everywhere, woven into daily existence. The internet started as an obscure project. A handful of visionaries saw what it could become. The same pattern repeated itself with the rise of mobile apps, the explosion of cryptocurrencies, the rapid ascent of artificial intelligence. The winners in each wave were not the ones who waited for proof, but those who sensed potential early, acting when the field was open and the rest of the world was skeptical. So what's the lesson for anyone hoping to build lasting wealth or to make impact on a grand scale? Don't wait for certainty. The most promising opportunities rarely come with flashing neon signs. Instead, be attentive to what's emerging at the intersection of your interests and the world's needs. Watch closely where your curiosity leads, and listen for where rising trends cross paths with your innate passions. Yet beware chasing money for its own sake. There's an irony to the pursuit of wealth. The harder you chase it directly, the more elusive it becomes. Money is like a shadow. It follows you most faithfully when you don't try to pin it down. Instead, focus on chasing mastery, on deepening curiosity, on striving to be genuinely useful. True wealth flows toward those who serve, who solve, who build with intention and heart. How do you put this philosophy into action? Start with your environment. Where you live shapes how you think, what you see, and who you meet. Choose your city, your community, your surroundings with intention. Place yourself where possibilities flourish, where the ideas you care about thrive, and where your perspective is expanded by diversity and ambition. Next, consider your people. Your circle can either limit or launch you. Surround yourself with those who uplift you, challenge you, and believe in building rather than complaining. Seek out friends and mentors who embody the values and aspirations you admire. Let go of relationships that drain your energy or keep you stuck in old ways of thinking. Then, cultivate your craft. This is central. Find something that holds your attention so tightly that you'd practice it for its own sake. Pour your energy into refining a skill, absorbing knowledge, building projects, and solving problems. Do it for love, then learn how to make it sustainable, how to exchange value with the world for what you bring to the table. Once you identify this North Star, that project, that industry, that mission that fills your mind and fuels your drive, immerse yourself. Don't wait for permission. Dive into learning, experimenting, testing your ideas in the real world. Build something small at first. A piece of code, an article, a community, a product. Focus on becoming truly useful. Once you've found traction, gradually scale Use code to automate, content to amplify, capital to multiply. Through it all, cultivate patience. The roots of your work must take hold before you reach for the sky. Don't rush growth. Don't get distracted by the latest popular thing. Instead, relentlessly clarify your vision and allow your project the space to become strong, resilient, and ready to flourish. The freedom to pursue your own way is available to everyone. You don't need anyone's approval to start. What you need is clarity, a commitment to your own path, even when it's lonely at first, and the persistence to see it through. In the end, building wealth is not only about having more, it's about creating something of value, something that matters deeply to you and serves others. It's about living on your terms, measuring success by how closely your daily work aligns with your purpose and passions. So the next time you hear the call to blend in, to play it safe, remember, real breakthroughs happen when you reclaim your edge. Success favors the curious, the bold, the builders and the learners who dare to pursue what isn't obvious yet. Hold tight to your vision. Recognize the trends before they're trends. Immerse yourself in mastering your craft and serving others. The journey might be unconventional, but that's precisely what makes it yours. And in the end, that's the only lane worth driving in. Earn with your mind, not your time. And let compound growth do the work. There's a hard truth we all have to face. If you're paid only when you show up, you'll always be stuck trading hours for dollars. That's why Naval Ravikant says, don't work harder, work smart, with leverage. And most importantly, work with your mind, not your time. The wealthiest people in the world don't necessarily work more hours. They've simply mastered one of two things, or both. The builder's skill, coding, designing, engineering, creating. The seller's skill, storytelling, persuading, marketing, inspiring. If you can build, or if you can sell, you'll never be poor. But here's where it gets deeper. Even the smartest builders and sellers need patience. They need to trust the quiet power of compound growth. Because the first 100 followers, the first $100 earned, the first awkward product, those feel slow. But they're not. They're the roots growing beneath the surface. 1% better every day might not look like much at first. But over time, it changes everything. Naval calls this compound interest of learning, building, and connecting. Read enough books, and reading gets easier. Create enough content, and it reaches further. Invest in people and relationships deepen and grow. You won't see fireworks overnight, but one day, something clicks. And suddenly, the world starts to notice what you've been quietly building. Final note. You're closer than you think. You don't need to be born rich. You don't need to be a genius. You just need to start where you are, with what you love, and build consistently. Stop waiting for permission. Stop asking if you're ready. You're already enough. But you won't know how far you can go until you move. Because wealth isn't just about money. It's about freedom. It's about building a life where your time is yours, where your work reflects your soul, and where your impact lives on even when you rest. You are the asset. You are the leverage. You are the starting point. Now go create something the world can't ignore.